Hi guys, welcome back to Miscellaneous Pleasures. Uh, so this is actually a quick, about 10 to 15 minutes video on United's game against West Brom. That is scheduled to happen at 1. The kickoff is at 1:30 a.m. IST, which is I think yeah, it's an 8 p.m. kickoff, right, in UK, if I'm not mistaken with my time and stuff. So today, that is on 21st of November. So yeah, I actually did not make any preview or predicted lineups or anything of the sort. Or like I haven't actually I actually was going to make a video on how United should perform after the international break. Like obviously I want United to win all the games possible, but that's not realistic. And I feel like the next set of like 6 or 7 games leading up to Christmas, a lot of them are winnable. But the problem is a lot of those games are like coming just after a Champions League game or just before a Champions League game, something like that. So that's kind of like an issue. We also have like Manchester City away, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, anyways, home and away, I don't think it matters that much. Even though United happen to have a bad home form and a very good away form, but I don't think without in a situation without the fans, I don't think the home or away thing matters that much. But having said that, I actually wanted to, yeah, so I might as well do this and show the, yeah, so this is what I was actually looking at before starting the recording. I'm actually also watching the Brighton versus Villa game. Brighton are leading 2-1 at the moment. That was actually a very good goal, the second one. Wonderful finish. I didn't see who finished that, but it was, I think, one of their midfielders or their left sided wingers or somebody like that. Yeah, coming back to this one, yeah, I mean, if I look at this lineup, I mean, De Gea is obviously starting. Luke Shaw is obviously injured, and it's almost certain that I guess Teles will start because he tested negative too. I think on a Thursday or Friday that news came that he tested negative for COVID. And I feel like Brandon hasn't actually started or featured or been in the bench for a lot of games. And I remember he played well for our under 23s. I feel like he's not, even if he was like in and around, even if he was like in and around the setup, like, featuring in like games for the last 30 minutes or something like that, then I might have actually thought that, what, maybe Brandon Williams will start because Tele, I'm not sure how much of a match fit player he is. But because Brandon hasn't been a part of the first team lineup for a while now, I think this season he hasn't been at all. So I think Teles will start. Maybe Brandon will be on the bench and come on for the last 20 minutes or so. Maybe something like that will happen. And actually, talking of that type of a substitution, I think the this defensive pairing is also important because I mean Maguire is starting, that's for sure. Lindelof had some back issue or something like that during the international break. I'm not sure if he is 100% fit, but there were news that he was fit and that he will probably play. But there were also news previously that he's not fit to start or he did not train or something like that. So I'm not particularly sure what's going to happen in that case. And if Lindelof doesn't start, then Tuanzebe will. And if Tuanzebe does, then Brandon has to be on the bench because if Maguire and Lindelof start, then I think Tuanzebe is not a bad option as a substitute for the left back position because he has played a couple of times pretty well in that position. And I mean, he's not a left back, right? I mean, he has the pace somewhat, but as far as creating the creative play goes, he's rubbish at it because he's a centre back. I mean, you can't fault him for that. But, just for the last 20 minutes, maybe he can be used like that. Also, if it is going to be the last 20 minutes and United are like nil all or something like that, then maybe you don't even need to bring on a left back. If Teles has to be substituted, you can bring on somebody like a, I don't know if Pogba is starting, or some people like that, some creative people, and then just play around with the position. Like you can easily have Van Bissaka as the third centre back and play like a back three for the last, like back three with two sweeping centre backs like Maguire and Van Bissaka on both sides. Like you can basically do anything you want with the formation in the last 20-25 minutes if the game has not gone to your plan. So yeah, so yeah, that's the back four because Van Bissaka is starting, that's for sure. And I'm actually curious as to what Solskjaer will do with the midfield. I hope it's not a diamond for the simple reason that I believe diamond has like a lot of inherent weaknesses to it. Like when you start with a diamond, what you basically do is the only wing players that you have is the right back and the left back. Wait, the right back and the left back. And what happens is when you are playing a diamond, the opposition is not going to play diamond. It's going to play a 4-3-3. It's going to play a 3-4-3, a 5-3-2, whatever. 4-2-3-1, doesn't matter. In all those like formations, you have a left mid or a left wing or position like that, as well as a left back. And what happens is you basically get bombarded on the wings, and your two, like your RCM and your LCM, has to basically like cover those positions, or one of your forwards has to get back all the time, and that kind of messes with the formation. I mean, creative wise, if you're going to have like 75% possession, then maybe it could work. But I'm not comfortable with that position, the formation. I feel like if you want to play four midfielders, like United can, when they have the potential to do that, they have the good players in the team to do that, then you could go for like a 4-2 sitting at CDMs like Fred and McTominay, and then like two sort of like left attacking midfield and right attacking midfield, like not really a winger but not really a number 10, like basically how Mata plays. Like whenever Mata starts, I mean in a 4-2-3-1, he doesn't really play like a right winger, does he? He always cuts inside and he's always like somewhere in this sort of a position. I feel like if you could play a 4-2-2 with like a Bruno Fernandes and Van de Beek, or Bruno and Pogba, or Pogba and Van de Beek, that's just perfect because we will then pick two out of the three creative midfielders that we have instead of just one in this case, which is just Bruno. And then in the front two, you can have Rashford and Martial. If you want, for some games, you can start Greenwood and Rashford, Greenwood and Martial, depending on like their fitness levels and their fatigue and stuff like that. And you will obviously have people like Cavani on the bench. And even Mata, I mean, Mata for a game like this, I'm not sure. I mean, one could argue that because West Brom will defend deep, this guy could be an asset in like picking apart the defenses. Like if you have Mata, Bruno, Van de Beek in the same team, you're basically having one of the most intelligent teams that United can have in a single game. And these three, if put in the same lineup, could work wonders together. But the problem I have is if you play Mata, he is not going to track back much. So I'm not sure about. And the problem is, especially in games like these, when you're playing a supposedly smaller team, what happens is they come with a single plan of attack and not like multiple plans of attack. Like if you're going to play against Liverpool, you know that Salah, Mane, Firmino are dangerous. Then they can bring on Jota, who will be dangerous. Then they'll have their hard-working midfield three, stuff like that. But when you're going to go up against a West Brom, a Crystal Palace, then they'll only have one plan of attack, and that plan of attack for them will be their most practiced, most suited, and most lethal. I think the difference between the smaller teams and the bigger teams, especially nowadays, is just that the bigger teams seem to have a lot more creative players than the smaller teams. But the smaller teams still do have some. Like an Aston Villa has like a Grealish, Barkley, and Trezeguet with like Ollie Watkins or somebody else starting up front. And you're like, wow, that's a good midfield three, right, for creative purposes. Or like an attacking three, Grealish, Barkley, and Trezeguet. and they also have like John McGinn and stuff like that. And if you take any other team, let's say you take a Leicester, even a Leicester have like Tielemans, Madison, your Iose Perez, you have Harvey Barnes. So they may not have the strength and depth that the bigger teams have, but their front, the first 11 is still good, especially for the targeted attacks. So yeah, that's why I don't think Mata should be starting. But then if he does start, then I do know what he can provide, and if he has a good game, then that's a very good, like, that will almost mean that United will play really well, because if Mata plays well, then United will play well. But if Mata plays bad, then United are going to suffer. But with some other player like a like a Van de Beek or somebody, I don't think if he plays bad, the team is going to suffer. Yes, they will be lacking something, but then he will always provide with the physical as well as the his running capacity, his, and they're obviously both intelligent. So yeah, that's why I think like we should go with the 4-2-2-2 and have Bruno and Van der Beek, Bruno and Pogba or something like that. But then defensively, I think defensively also that will help, because you'll have two sitting midfielders as well as the two wide midfielders who can track back at times. So yeah, though yeah, obviously Martial and Rashford important. I'm not sure what's the situation with Greenwood, because there were obviously like some troubling news coming throughout the international break, and I felt like some of them were just. The problem is, as a person who is sitting outside, I mean, I'm sitting in India, so obviously very, very far away from UK. But even for people who are in UK, who are not really associated with the clubs, if you're a normal fan, then the news that gets printed, you don't know if it's true or not. And I feel like, and all you can do is just sit and speculate that, you know what, this is just an agenda against the player. Oh, no, no, this is actually a thing. Stuff like that. And what happens is, um, yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, I feel like there have been some things that Greenwood has done in the past couple of months or so which have been questionable. And I feel like Solskjaer should have the talk with Greenwood, uh, like Sir Alex had with Giggs. And I mean, if you have watched the movie, it's called Class of 92, or is it called something else? Yeah, I think it's called Class of 92, where Giggs talks about the time Sir Alex basically like thrashed him with the words and the, the things that he talked about, the hair dye treatment basically. So if if Social is able to give some version of it, like some, or even just the aspects of it, he doesn't need to give the hair dye. Aspects of it, I think that'll be fine. And secondly, the problem is Greenwood. There was a news that came across last week or the week before, I think, where unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, it was a Manchester City player, a youth player who committed suicide. And going by the some of the things that I read on social media, it seemed like Greenwood was a good friend of his, or rather, the person was a good friend of Greenwood. And if something like that like happens, like that's just like you, yeah, you can't really do anything about it, and you start to question a lot of things. I mean, a normal death, like forget suicide, a normal death of a person you know or a person you have interacted with a lot. I mean, forget a friend, right? Just a person you have interacted with or something like that. That's kind of like the whole day or maybe a day or two, you're like in a very different mood than you'd usually be in. But if it turns out to be a friend, then it's just worse. But if it turns out to be a suicide and not just a normal sort of death, then that's just even worse. And sometimes I think it's difficult to understand, right, the sort of a situation that a person can be in. And it's difficult to understand the situation that Greenwood is in right now, because, yeah, I mean, his friend has committed suicide who was 17 years old. I mean, forget it. The guy is 18. Greenwood is 18 years old. And to process the things, I mean, I'm 20, 21. I'm 21 now. I'm going to be 22 soon. Uh, there are a lot of people the fan base, I'm not sure about the age range of the fan base, but if you're 35, 40, then you've seen a lot more in life. Maybe then it's much easier to process things. But if you're 18 years old, to process stuff like this, it's just crazy. And so yeah, I'm I trust Solskjaer and all the people like Mike Phelan, your McKenna, Carrick, and all the background staff to like handle the situation as well as they could, and I trust them to do that. But and if Greenwood is fit and ready and raring to go, then I mean this guy doesn't feature, does he? Like Greenwood will be starting in this position if it's a 4-2-3-1, and then you can have all the sort of fun that you would want to have because wait, what? Oh, this is interesting. So Barkley got injured right today for Aston Villa, like in the 5th minute or like very early on in the game, and then Bertrand Traore was the person who replaced him. And I'm just viewing that Bertrand Traore is getting subbed off. That's interesting. I mean, to be fair, he did come on very early, so I guess that's not that big of a deal. It's not like he's coming on and going off in like 15 minutes or something. Yeah. So what was I saying? So yeah, so Greenwood. So Greenwood does start here, then it's a very different look to the team. If all three of them are fit, then I don't find a reason to change this setup. Like if Bruno, Fred, and McTominay are fit, I don't find a reason to change the setup because there have been few people who have said that we should be going out with a weaker team here so that we play Istanbul on Wednesday. Actually, it's a Tuesday, it's a Wednesday for India, 1:30 a.m. So, but the point is, we have 10 points from 7 games. I don't think we can afford to be like, let's rest some players here and let's just play them there. We can't afford to do that. We have to just go with the best lineup that we have, at least now, and then like figure out the things as they come. So, talking of the coming fixtures, we obviously have West Brom away. The Southampton game will be interesting. Like we drew like 1-1 and 2-2 last season, and Southampton are top of the league, right? Or they were top of the league. Oh, they aren't. That's interesting. Oh, I thought they were top of the league for some reason. But they were top of the league, right, for a day or something before international break. So they are in some good form, but then the international break is this sort of a thing where any form that you have, that's like non-existent because you have some injuries, you have some players coming back, so it's a lot of like unpredictability basically. So yeah, I'm not sure about this game. To be fair, it sucks to be a United fan and not be sure of this game because as a United fan, I want to go into this game going, you know what, we're winning this. This is a winnable game, but I can't perhaps say that. Similarly, West Ham. I mean, West Ham lost Antonio, right? So I'm not sure if he's coming back by that time. Like, I don't even know what his injury status is. But going by the face value, I'm guessing West Brom, West Ham, and Southampton are games that we should be winning. Man City, well, yeah, that's up for grabs. I mean, I could sit here and say that we beat them thrice in 4 games. Was it? Yeah, thrice in 4 games last season. But again, injuries. We would be playing Leipzig before them and PSG a week before them. So all these 6 games, what impact they will have on the squad and what form we will be in coming into this game is I'm not sure. So anything could happen with this. Yeah, so these are the games. I mean, if you look at it, it's just West Brom, West Ham, Southampton, Sheffield, and Leeds. Sheffield and Leeds before Christmas, apart from Man City. And if we win all those and lose to Man City, that will be brilliant. I mean, it sucks to lose to. I mean, in a prediction, I'm just going. You know what? If we lose to Man City and win other games, it's brilliant. I don't mean it that way. What I mean is, if we can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, if we can play 6 games and get 5 wins, I'm fine with it. especially after the position that we are in. I mean, 6 games, 5 wins, and a loss would get us to 25 points from 13 games, and I'm fine with it. And obviously, after this, we play Villa, Leicester, and Wolves. Yeah, it's far too ahead. Far, far, far too ahead. Uh, yeah, so that's all for like now, basically. I mean, the kickoff is in like 5.5 hours. Oh, sorry, not 5.5. The kickoff is in 3.5 hours. We obviously have the Man City versus Spurs game about to kick off in an hour. Uh, yeah, I mean the 5 subs thing, like, yeah, that's something that I read again today. Like when Barkley got injured, I read a tweet. Basically, I don't know who it was from. I basically read a tweet. It said that, you know, their manager Dean Smith, is his name Dean Smith? I'm not sure. Basically, the Aston Villa manager was one of the people who basically rejected the idea of 5 substitutions. And there you go. That's the whole point of having the 5 substitutions, because Barkley, if I'm not mistaken, he is out injured because of hamstring injury. That's what he got during the game. And if you have tired hamstrings, that is bound to happen. I mean, to be fair, this is after the international break, so, and I don't think Barkley was part of the England squad. So that's kind of unfortunate, and this is not the sort of example that is like suitable for this sort of a scenario, because it doesn't serve the purpose. But the point remains that as the season goes on and as the games come thick and fast, especially in a shortened season, I feel like it's just trouble, and the smaller squads will actually suffer more, because usually what happens is it's just the bigger teams that have to play Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday sort of fixtures. But this time around, even the Premier League clubs have to play like. I mean, in the December, we have what? I should have seen this before, but I don't even know if you guys can see the bloody screen. Just a second. Oh, this is ridiculous. Come on. Yeah, so I was saying something. Yeah, even in the Premier League fixtures for the other teams, if you pick, let's say, an Aston Villa, who are not on Europe, who just have the Premier League to contend with, they have West Ham, Newcastle, Wolves, but Burnley is not on 15th. Is that so? I'm not sure what the case of this is. They have West Brom, they have Aston Villa, and they have Chelsea, and they have United. So they have basically 8 games in 33 days. 8 games in 33 days is basically four days per game. And smaller teams, I'm not sure how. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have absolutely no idea what just happened there with my recording. It just stopped. I don't know why that happened, but yeah, what I was basically saying is 33, what? 33, what? 33 days for 8 games is 4 days per game. That's not a lot. And teams like Aston Villa, the smaller teams will struggle. And the problem is usually this happens every year, right? So this is not something that the clubs are not used to. But the problem is they are not used to coming to December with a tight fixture before that. Like usually the smaller clubs, they have like an easier fixture list than the top teams, and then they come to the tired fixture list, and then they are like, coping with that. But this is different, and you know, I read somewhere that there have been like what 80 injuries or something. I'm not sure about the number, but basically, uh, I forget the number that I just said. But what I basically read was this season has had loads of injuries, more than what you would have at the same stage in the Premier League. in other seasons. And that's sort of like the stat that basically explains the problem best, I'm guessing. So yeah, so I don't know what will happen with that. Um, there isn't anything else to talk about, really. I mean, the game is just 3.5 hours away, and I'll probably make a video. The thing is, it's going to end at 3:30, 3:15, 3:30 a.m. IST. I mean, I have to wake up till then. I'm not sure if I'll have the energy or the mindset to even make a video at that time of the day. I mean, it's literally 3:30 a.m. when the game will finish. So I'll probably make a video, but I won't release it today. That's for sure. Even if I make one, I don't think I'll release it. But if the game is like, 3-0, 4-0 or something like that by the 80th minute or so, then what I'll do is I'll sort of make a video or start the video then and then, so that by the time the game finishes, I can talk about the game and then the things that happened live for the last 10-15 minutes. So maybe I can do that. That's sort of an idea that I can do. But if it's a tense game, if it's like a 1-1 till 85th minute, I don't think I'll do that, because like, I'll be too much focused there rather than here. I don't want to do that. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like, your support is really important to me. Please leave your comments, any suggestions, constructive criticism, feedback, appreciation, anything you like. And please share the content, because the more people watch, the better the channel will become. This is sort of like a virtuous cycle, is it what it's called as? So yeah, that's that. It's basically a positive feedback cycle, so please keep it going. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Have a good evening, night, morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching. And that's all. Bye. Dude. Oh, dude. Oh my god, what is going on in this game? I mean, I had actually stopped recording, and I was like, just compiling the two videos that I had, because I had some technical glitches in the first one. And I'm watching this game, and basically there was this foul by Trezeguet, if I'm not mistaken, which was maybe a red card, but not a red card for like the violent conduct. And then there was a yellow card that Lamptey got, which was kind of dodgy. Or was it the second yellow card that he got, which was dodgy? And he got red carded, who was basically the best player that Brighton had the whole game. I think Grealish was really intelligent in drawing that foul. And then, like, literally seconds later, this guy is. Oh, they're checking for. Oh my god. This guy, I don't know his name. I am Michael Oliver, if I'm not mistaken. I know this guy's face. This guy is a clown half the time. This referee, he basically gave a penalty, and that's when I actually started recording this, about like a minute and 16 seconds ago. And now they're checking if that was a foul or not. In the first thing, I basically thought that it was a foul, first like viewing, but then he has cancelled the penalty. Is that what he has done? He got the ball. Oh, he got the ball. Oh, dude, they have cancelled the penalty. What the heck? I was actually, excited, because I thought Grealish might actually score that penalty and like FPL and stuff. But the problem is, see, when things like this happen, I made a video on VAR. Oh, is he giving a yellow card to a player for diving? He's basically calling somebody to talk to him about something. I'm not sure what he is talking about. Yeah, it seems like he's talking about, yeah, I think it's probably diving, or, basically bad mouthing the ref, one or the other. Yeah, to be fair, in the replay, it does feel like it was kind of a dive. Like, he basically, what is it? I think there was contact, but I don't think it was enough for the penalty. I mean, that was definitely not enough for a penalty. So what a finish to the game. And I think Villa will be kicking themselves because I think they had good enough chances to win the game and they've just messed it up. Oh, what is going wrong with me today? So yeah, I mean they have to be disappointed with this. This is just rubbish in my opinion. I feel like if Villa want to finish in European places, which they could if they maintain some sort of consistency, which again would be difficult because they have lost Barkley now, and I'm sure they will have some other injury issues as well this season. So yeah, dude, don't take a shot. Put the cross in. Not good enough. Yeah, I think that should be it. Anyways, Lamptey red card was a bit. I mean, I'm not sure if it was a red card. Like, I don't think. I think, yeah, this is the problem that people have an issue with VAR, right? Like, it's the it's the inconsistency in decisions, which will always happen. If you have like, I don't know how many referees are there for Premier League. I'm guessing it's like some like 10 to 15 referees would be there. I'm guessing. If you have 10 to 15 different people, then you're going to have 10 to 15 different opinions. Yeah, Brighton have won the game 2-1. You're going to have 10 to 15 different opinions, and I feel like that's just difficult, especially for situations which require a person's opinion rather than a fact. Like the ball crosses the line, it's a goal. That's a fact. No person can argue that point. But when it comes to fouls, when it comes to people viewing the on pitch monitor or whatever it is called as, then your opinion comes into play, and I feel like 10 to different opinions, especially humans tend to be a bit here and there. Nobody is consistently on like one thing. Like today I'll see something and I'll be like, you know what, that's a foul, and 10 out of 10 times I'll probably say that's a foul. But then sometimes some fouls which whether it was a ball first or contact first, or you'll be thinking of like various other situations and you'll probably tend to change your decisions, and that's what's happening. And inconsistency in decisions is probably one of the issues. And I don't know how you could solve it. I mean, there is no actual way to solve inconsistency in football decisions when it comes to fouls. I mean, even with handballs, I think you can do like, what, hits a hand, that's it. Forget deliberate, not deliberate, or anything like that. Forget it. It hits your hand, it's a foul. That will be really harsh, but at least that will be consistent. But with fouls, there is no way you could actually do anything about it. So there you go. I think that's a very good win for Brighton, and I feel like Aston Villa are probably going to have the thing that Everton basically had in the last international break, where they drew a game that they should have lost against Liverpool, and then they lost 3 games. So basically, they lost 3 and drew 1 in 4 after that international break. And maybe in this, like, I think Villa drew or lost, right? I think Villa drew or lost, yeah, the game before the international break, and now they have lost. And I'm not sure about the fixtures that they have. It might be that type of a fixture list for them where they keep on losing like 3 4 games, and now they have had an injury too. So yeah, that's going to derail some things. So, anyways, that's all for this video. This was quite spur of the moment sort of video recording. But that's all. Thank you so much. Bye.